men and women makes no sense to me. If women only talk among ourselves, we can only solve 50% of the problem. We need men to join the conversation, to be our partners. And as for the men, most of them aren't anywhere near villains. They don't need beating up with a 2x4. They'd like to see an equitable workplace. They just can't figure out what they're supposed to do about it. As Intel's Chief Executive Officer Brian Krasnick put it, I have 2 daughters. I want them to have a world that's got equal opportunity for them. And yet men often recoil from the conversation about closing the gap. Some simply aren't interested. Others are sure they have no problem with women themselves. It must be some other guys who do. And some feel victimized, as if the very topic is an implicit accusation. They're sure the gap doesn't exist at all. That if anything, women are getting an unfair advantage when it comes to jobs and opportunities. Indeed, by some measures, outright hostility toward women has increased, or at least become more visible, over the past decade. It's been fanned both by the Wild West of the web, where misogyny and racism thrive, and by the same deep economic frustrations and rejection of political correctness that powered Donald Trump into the presidency. Misogynistic corporate cultures have flourished at companies including Fox News, Uber, venture capital firms, film studios, media companies, and more, though when exposed, the result has been the ouster of top executives. The tech industry has been roiled by multiple sexual harassment scandals. In Hollywood, after producer Harvey Weinstein was accused by multiple women of sexual harassment and assault over a 30-year stretch, thousands of women in other industries came forward with their own tales of abuse. These trends are playing out on the world stage. 1 out of 5 men in a global survey of more than 17,000 people in 24 countries said that women are inferior to men. Almost half of women as well as men surveyed in Russia and India believe women to be inferior. And this was a survey done in 2017. Those attitudes make it even more difficult for men who do want to reach across the gender divide. When Robert Moritz, Chief Executive Officer of consulting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers, wrote a LinkedIn post about why the firm values diversity, commenters, professional men using real names, called his ideas repellent, an affront to every white man, and argued there's no such thing as a real business run by a non-white man. One suggested that he surrender his job to a diversity hire and stay at home as a house husband. It's no wonder that men feel stymied, fearful of speaking out on behalf of women. While he was a student at Harvard Business School in 2012, management consultant Kunal Moody published a piece in the Huffington Post arguing for gender equality. Man up, he wrote. Men, just as equally as women, must take ownership of these family issues, which are core to American economic competitiveness. He offered 5 pieces of advice, including such common sense suggestions as learn the facts, do your job, at home, and get involved at the ballot box, in which he noted that the U.S. ranks an appalling 90th in terms of female representation in our national legislature. Even so, he had to take a hard gulp before pressing the send button. It's hard for guys to do this, he told me later. Men worry, do I know enough? Do I have the right to talk about this issue? One of the biggest challenges from a guy's perspective is, how do we make these issues discussable? Indeed, plenty of other men would be happy to join in the conversation. They're just terrified of saying something wrong. When Catalyst, a nonprofit organization focused on working women, asked men what might undermine their support for gender equality, a stunning 74% cited fear of loss of status, fear of other men's disapproval, and most telling of all, fear of making a mistake. Men are walking around on eggshells. Telly Whitney, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Anita Borg Institute for Women in Technology, has witnessed that phenomenon over and again during her organization's annual Grace Hopper Conference for Women in Technology. The confab attracts not only hundreds of women, but also male executives from the major tech firms, all of which are trying to recruit more female employees. These men genuinely want to correct the gender imbalance in their industry, Whitney told me, but they are intimidated and uncertain exactly how to act or what to say. When Blake Irving, the chief executive of GoDaddy, a web domain registry, spoke to the